That's true, and every time I come to this Benicia library here, I really love the sculpture in the hallway. So I decided, since a lot of you folks hear me a lot, I'm going to do a mixture of my own poetry and poems that I love. I want to start with What Kind of Times Are These by Adrienne Rich. There's a place between two stands of trees where the grass grows uphill and the old revolutionary road breaks off into shadows, near a meeting house, abandoned by the persecuted, who disappeared into those shadows. I've walked there, picking mushrooms at the edge of dread, but don't be fooled. This isn't a Russian poem. This is not somewhere else, but here, our country, moving closer to its own truth and dread, its own ways of making people disappear. I won't tell you where the place is, the dark mesh of the woods meeting the unmarked strip of light, ghost-ridden crossroads, leaf-mold paradise. I already know who wants to buy it, sell it, make it disappear. And I won't tell you where it is. So why do I tell you anything? Because you still listen. Because in times like these, to have you listen at all is necessary to talk about trees. This is a poet that I'm related to. His name was John Reed. He lived about 100 years ago, and he was the founder of the American Communist Party. So I like this poem by him. It's called A Farmer's Woman. I know a patient, nobly curving hill that wears a different paleness every hour. Copper by sun, gray velvet through a shower, topaz and mauve, blue of the heron's quill. Forever mean-souled plowmen scar the soil and bind with rambly stoning walls her breast. Never allow her weary womb to rest, nor give a moment's peace for all her toil. Oh, if the plowman knew what wonders spring from fields that for a season fallow lie, under the healing hand of wind and sky, would they not grant her time for flowering? Her heart is rock. I wonder if her tongue knows how to say, I also once was young. This is a poem of mine called Listen. Listen, listen. Do you hear that? Our mother, she is calling. She weeps with a broken heart. She begs for her children to treat her with love, for her children to act out of gratitude. Their existence relies upon her. But only some of her children choose love. They take her messages to heart and shout them from the rooftops. Others still heartlessly plunder her house, her patience, her time, her heart, leaving it barren. Her tears flood our streets. She bathes in a tsunami of sorrow. She exhales in hurricanes that cry out, wake up! Listen to your Mother Earth. She is calling. Do not let her cries go unheard. Hear her, so that we may turn, that she may turn, that we all might be welcome in her home, the only home we've ever known. These excesses that we chase in the name of fame and fortune will soon come to swallow us if we do not turn towards a life of simplicity, a life of sustainability, a life that respects all other life. The solutions are right in front of us. We hold within us the vision. All we must do is act. One of my favorite poets is Rick Lippert, and he recently wrote a poem for Labor Day, which I absolutely loved, so I'd like to share it with you guys here today. I went to find my Labor Day decorations, and it turned out to be a box of old typewriters and time clocks. I looked for the true meaning of Labor Day in all the new media I could find, and I was almost convinced it was about new car discounts. Someone whispered the words, Labor Day, into my ears, and almost involuntarily, I reached to fire up the barbecue. I was devastated to find I don't actually own a barbecue. I march with the chickens that yoke for your eggs. Here's to the people who do the work, to the coal miners still coming to terms with how we shouldn't be mining coal. Here's to the people who pick all the fruits and vegetables in conditions my privileged upbringing wouldn't allow me to tolerate. Here's to the office workers, the lifesavers, the policymakers. Here's to the people who thought to put up posters on the walls that say, "You have rights and here they are." Here's to the unions that fight for fairness. Here's to the people who choose not to join unions for whatever their reasons. Here's to the work, the changing work, the ever-expanding work. Here's to a life of meaningful work that fills our days and pays our bills. Here's to anyone who ever told us, "You should get a job, young man, young woman, young whatever pronoun makes you happy." Here's to a weekend without the very labor we celebrate. Ready your grilling spatula, burn your ties and all your business casual attire. There's a whole extra weekend day just for you. Enjoy until Tuesday, when you go back to making the world go round. My favorite poem in Ron's book, Undocumented, is called Social Justice, and it's by George Bowring, the Canadian Parliamentary Poet Laureate. Social justice. Social without socialism is just a friendly dance, or being polite, or something like bees. In school, socials was just their chicken way of saying history with something added that was never added. Social eyes are what you wear on your face when you mingle with the intention to make a sale down the road. Be sociable, our mothers always advised when we really were too shy. But didn't we notice just about every time the word social came up, it was all about putting on a friendly face. Social without socialism means finding a strategy to get ahead. And that means getting more people behind you, doesn't it? Where's the justice in that? Just fix your eye on high society calls for dissociation from folks that were a lot like you. Just us. I've been up where they prance in slippers and down where work boots cost too much. Didn't see a lot of justice in either place. Is it around somewhere? The jury's still out on that. Justice without socialism is for sale, isn't it? A jury of your peers has to squint to see the law and squint again to see whether it's justifiable, in your case. All men and women, some paper said, are created equal. After that, you're on your own. Where's the justice in that? Bees don't live long, but they're always around until some operators without socialism kill them while making money instead of honey. There's a word for that, and it ain't either of the two up above. Thank you.
I thought you were
No, I appreciate it. It's one of mine called Plowshares. It was written because of a prompt that said, "Tell a lie," and these are all lies I wish were true. I awoke this beautiful morning to witness an amazing sight. The nations have laid down their arms. Their peoples will no longer fight. The evil dictator tyrants died of heart attacks, mysteriously, overnight. The swords have been beaten into plowshares. The guns are museum pieces now. The nukes have been dismantled, and the tanks have rested down. Estranged lovers and parents with children long since left now embrace their differences and hold tight to each other's breast. On this day, no innocents died. The children are all healthy. On this day, no mothers cried. With peace, we are all wealthy. The doctors now have magic pills. Cancer and AIDS are no more. Starvation and homelessness a thing of the past. We each have more than we need. Religions now work together in peace, each praising God in their own way. Differences are accepted and celebrated, and not a single mouth preaches hate. No politicians are bought off. They all improve the world. No tornadoes strike the plains. No tsunamis wreck the shores. The earth no longer quakes. The sunset and sunrise paint love in the sky, and rainbows adorn the lakes. This is my last poem. It's always a joy to read in Benicia. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
It's called Generations. Child, you were born into a world where the lines were already drawn, and the words had their meanings beyond what you're seeing, stretching back throughout history, only to ensnare us all in their mysteries, as neutrality is an impossibility once understanding has been achieved. So choose carefully, for there is no other world in which you may exist. You must change this one.
Q&A section now, right?